Okay, good morning. We've changed the chart here. We were previously talking about World War III, which is supposed to start tomorrow. Now, I found something that I had put on conjunct.com, which has no viewers. So I thought, well, why don't we give it a try and stick it on YouTube. You notice here I have a chart of Israel with a few planets I added. And I'm going to divert my gaze, although the camera will still be talking, but I'm going to read something that I had written, I don't know, about a week ago. If I can find it. Astrology prediction. So I'm reading, and then I will interrupt myself as I see fit. Thanks to astro.com for this chart. These are planets I use at the present time. Notice that I use Isis and Waldemath, which is Ivy Goldstein Jacobson's Lilith. In my experience, Lilith can be interpreted as a good or not so good Jewish girl. Hence Lilith magazine, the Lilith Fair, Jewish women's liberation. So they like Lilith. And in my experience, there does something to be something Jewish about Lilith. And like if you're looking at a Jewish girl's chart, you're going to see Lilith. Lilith is in everybody's chart, but you're going to see that it's a little truer for her, you might say. Okay, Isis, the asteroid, is conjunct the moon in the 10th house in the Israel chart. So you can, look up a lot of charts on the internet about Israel, but not too many are going to have Isis in it. Now, mind you, there are 20,000 or more asteroids that you can get on astro.com, and you're allowed to pick 10 of them, more or less. And then you can make another chart and pick 10 other ones, and then figure out, what works for you. I think that probably all the asteroids work, except you're going to have a heck of a time figuring out the meanings for them. Now, there is a fellow who is figured out the meanings for quite a few asteroids. He's on the internet. I can't think of his name, but there's a guy out there. If I find his name, I'll let you know. The general way that astrologers do this, though, when a new something or other is discovered, first of all, there's a matter of faith here on something that I believe to be true. And that is, but that's debatable. When a baby is born, people give him the right name, or give her the right name, that reflects his past, present, and future. Now, there's jokes about, the Indians would name a child when they hear the child is born. They look outside and see what's happening. See, and if a thunderbolt struck at that time, then you would have the name Crashing Thunder, which somehow reflected the fact that the universe saw fit to have you born and the thunderbolt at the same time. So that's But the point is that names reflect a true reality and not a false reality. Names are not arbitrary, they reflect a true reality. So when you name an asteroid Isis, somebody in Isis is a pretty old asteroid. It was discovered, a long time ago. Of course, Ceres, Pallas, Juno, and Vesta were the first asteroids discovered. But, when a comet is discovered, it is named. I'm not sure what you're going to do about the name Cahutek. It has no mythology. But if you have an asteroid like Isis or a planet like Isis, guess what? You look in the, Gray's handbook of important goddesses. In other words, what was it? Gray's mythology. Nowadays, I look on the internet. Okay, what does Isis mean? And then there's the standard meanings for Isis, and so I read on. Isis, the asteroid, is conjunct the moon in the 10th house. Now we know what the moon means, right? Isis, you remember from the myth, reconstructed Osiris, her brother and husband, by patching him together from after Brother Seth, from jealousy, tore Isis into 1,000,000 parts. Maybe not 1,000,000, but he was very angry. He scattered the body parts all over the place. Isis gathered them together and patched him up. He was missing a phallus, so she constructed one out of gold and used it and him to get herself in a family way, which is a nice way of saying that she used him to get herself in a family way. Okay, I'm reading the chart of Israel to indicate Isis, the asteroid, as serving Israel to collect the many remnants of the diaspora, all the peoples, of the diaspora, and putting them together. See, that's an Isis thing. And as the people of the new Israeli state. And the moon, of course, is the people. See, so gathering the people from here and there, hither and thither, back to Israel. Lilith is in the 4th house, so I say all with Jewish mothers, of course. The 4th house being the mother. Lilith is in the 4th house, which is called in this chart Waldemath. There are 3 Liliths commonly used right now, or maybe 5, but anyway, there's the asteroid Lilith. There's the black moon Lilith. It's kind of a mathematical point, a node of, it's fine. There's the asteroid, which is an asteroid in the asteroid belt. And then there's the dark moon Lilith, which was discovered by an astronomer named Waldemath. And it's a very fuzzy, he claimed he saw like a cloud pass over, and that's the dark moon Lilith. Now, that's the one I like to use because years ago, the American Federation of Astrologers published a book by Ivy Goldstein Jacobson called Lilith. And she had an ephemeris for it, and so on. But Ivy Goldstein Jacobson's Lilith, and that's, by the way, a Jewish girl from, presumably, from Australia. A very good astrologer. God, made a lot of books. She printed them herself and sewed the covers on by herself. And remarkable woman, and good stuff. Any book by Ivy Goldstein Jacobson is gonna, come right to the point. She did one on horary astrology that I used for years, and I'd still use it, except I lost it. The Lilith in my 7th house kicked me out of the house without my books, so I assume those books are still at lady's house. Okay. All Jewish mothers, Lilith, Lilith, you can't be a real Jew unless you have a Jewish mother, right? So Lilith in the 4th house would indicate that you have a Jewish mother. So we are gathering all the peoples in the world, meaning Isis and the moon in the 10th house opposite the Lilith in the 4th house, all who have Jewish mothers and who are therefore really Jewish. That's what this horoscope says, and that's the horoscope of Israel. Now, then I make a prediction, and I wrote this. I wrote this a couple of weeks ago, but anyway, it still applies. Pluto enters Aquarius. It won't be false until after the prediction doesn't come true, but at this point, it still might happen, right? Pluto enters Aquarius and will conjunct Lilith, Waldemath, at 1 Aquarius 34 on March the 15th, the Ides of March of 2024. This will bring a new regime, Pluto, in the person of a Jewish woman. So basically what I'm saying is, she will be the mother of her country. Netanyahu will be out. Some woman will be in, and we don't. I have no idea who that would be. Make a note of this. On this note, a friend and I came up with a wild speculation that it may ultimately be a Jewish woman and a Palestinian woman who will ultimately make the peace in the Israel-Hamas conflict. Of course, I'm writing here, the Israeli state at this time is heavily patriarchal, as are most of the Muslim states. However, the United States seems to have a large number of power-wielding women, Muslim, Jewish, and others, and these are women who come from the United States might end up making or influencing Middle East policy. Astrologically speaking, we should look at Lilith, Isis, and other female planets for clues. Now, how are we doing here? That's all I have to say about that. So that's predictions for a Jewish girl to become leader of Israel.